What's up, YouTube? Today we're gonna be going to Natural Bridge Caverns, and we're basically gonna be going underground. And if y'all don't see this video, I'm dead. But we're gonna be introducing some new people. Say hi, Jacob.
What's up?
He'll do any Fortnite dance if we get this video to 25 likes. Just comment down below what dance. Anyways, say hi to my sister. Oh my gosh. She says, hold on. Oh my gosh. It's already been 5 billion years. How long do we have to wait? Say hi, sister. Hi. And finally, my mom. So, yep. If I hit 50 subs and I get 25 likes on this video, Jacob will do any Fortnite dance. Y'all just have to comment down below which dance. Nah. How many birds can you hear? I can hear 0. There's our gift store. No, I need subscribers and likes, bro. No, cause what is this? No, what's in there? No, I just saw that. Anyways, I need money, bro. Can I show y'all my life savings? I'm gonna show y'all my life savings. That's my life savings. I always keep them in my pocket. But anyways, yeah, I need y'all to subscribe. Oh my god, I keep stuttering, bro. I need y'all to subscribe and like, because if y'all subscribe and like, y'all will get better video quality and better microphone quality. So when I have enough money, I'm gonna get a microphone first, and then after I'm gonna get a camera when I have enough. So yeah, I'm just using an iPhone right now to record. Yeah, we're walking to it right now. But yeah, we're gonna be going underground.
So y'all here for the Discovery? 3:30 Discovery. They just left, so they're gonna be right there over in that pavilion. Okay.
No.
Photography is allowed if you have a flashlight. You're more than welcome to use it. The only time I'll ask you not to is on the rare chance that we come across caged wildlife. This is very unlikely. It is possible though. We can find something in the cavern like a caged cricket, a caged spider, or maybe even a lost tour guide that might live in the cavern. And since all those animals do live in such a dark environment, they have very sensitive eyes, and a bright flashing light can blind them or harm them. So just try not to, once again, use that flash on wildlife. If we do not see any wildlife, feel free to use that flash. Now, our cavern is pretty warm. It is 70 degrees year-round. It has a 99% relative humidity, making it feel a little bit warmer, about 80 to 85 degrees. And with the high humidity in the cavern, we do have pretty wet trails. The trails are also going to be steep. We will be going down and back up 180 feet. So we recommend rubber-soled shoes made for walking, running, hiking, or just something you can comfortably walk for the next hour. Now, if you guys don't have rubber-soled shoes, or even if you do, also try to take slow, small steps. Also try to use the handrails. This will make everything a little bit easier and give you guys a little bit more balance. Now, the tour itself is a one-way tour, about 3/4 of a mile long, half a mile in the cavern, where we'll be going down and back up 180 feet, and then about a 1/4 mile walk from the exit tunnel to the Discovery Crawlway with really no elevation change. Now, overall, we are considered a pretty strenuous tour, so make sure you guys are keeping in mind any physical limitations, anything like a bad knee, bad back, recent surgery, asthma, claustrophobia, anything that can make it harder, just keep that in mind. And if at any point in time something starts bothering you, you want to leave, you need help, or anything like that, please feel free to let me know. Once again, my name is Tanner. If you forget that throughout the tour, I will not take any personal offense. However, I will also respond to hey you, hey tour guide, hey red shirt guy, hey caveman, Jake from State Farm, or really anything else you guys can come up with. That way I know you're talking to me. Last but not least, we are going to stay together as a group throughout this tour, so try not to go way too far in front or stay way too far back. This way we do stay as a collective and nobody gets lost, including myself, because I have a tendency to wander off. Now, with that being said, do you guys have any questions before we start going into the cavern? All right. So, as you're making your way down to the sinkhole, I will be tearing y'all's tickets. You can do me a huge favor, get all of them, put them in all one stack, and then give them to one person in your group. This way I can check your entire groups all at once. It'll make it a little bit easier for me, and this way I know who is with who. With that being said, yeah, please follow me down.
We're starting this, okay? So yeah, we're going down 180 feet. That's crazy, right? I'm gonna be giving the cam to Jacob. Say whatever you want to say.
So, Cam, you about to go 180 feet down.
Yep. Yeah. Kind of scared, bro. What if there's like a little tunnel thing where I got stuck? Alright. Oh my god.
How'd you guys like that hidden wonder store? Yeah? This one's a little cooler, in my opinion. Is it longer? It is a little bit longer, both distance and time-wise. We also get to see a lot more in this tour. Okay. Ooh, I like the Jordans. Thank you. What colorway are those?
The Palominos.
Oh.
Thank you.
That was inspiring.
You didn't tell us we needed actual pennies.
Forgot.
Now we're going all the way down there.
So whenever I tell
Like
you to
this,
carry me, you can't
going to
see
caves.
I might slip up some stairs.
I mean, those will work. I've seen people go through this cave and it's a little your feet might get a little wet, but
No, that's good.
overall.
Thanks, Jake's for being
Wow.
Want to take the cam?
That's pretty cool.
Alright. No, nobody wants to take the cam. Nobody wants to talk to YouTube.
There you go.
Except
Alrighty,
me.
everybody,
Except
welcome
me.
to the sinkhole. Now, right now, we are in the pretty much starting area of everything. If you take a look around, you'll see that we are in a natural depression. Geologists theorize that this was a large upper room in the cavern at one point. However, around 5,000 years ago, the ceiling did collapse in two separate areas, leaving behind the sinkhole we are standing in, and then also the 60-foot-long natural bridge, where we get our name, Natural Bridge Caverns. Now, this entire area was known about in the early 1900s. The local farmers and ranchers that used to live and work here used the first room of the cavern to get away from their boss when they wanted to hide and not work. However, since they were just ranch and farm hands, they didn't really have an interest in finding the rest of the cavern. This started changing back in the year 1960 when a group of college students attending St. Mary's University got granted access to come onto the property, drive out to the sinkhole, and take a look in the cavern and see if they could find anything. Now, those four explorers took a couple of trips down. Only on their fourth one did they find a 120-foot crawlway that opened up and led them to approximately 2 miles of cavern, leading north of where we are now. And that trip was taken March 27th in 1960. Now, about 3 years later, in 1963, we did start the development process. We had put about half a mile of trail in this cavern. It took us about a year to do so. And then on July 3rd, in 1964, we opened the cavern tour up and started sending groups of people into the cave. Now, about a month later, on August 5th in 1964, we did have a small dedication ceremony down here. Late Texas Governor John B. Connally would have came down and dedicated the lower of the two left plaques to the side of the trail The lower one was dedicated to the explorers and the developers. All the explorers will be on the left side, developers on the right. And then a couple of years later, in 1982, we held our second dedication ceremony, dedicating the upper one of those two plaques to the left of the trail to Miss Clara Wolf Waste Heitman. She was the original landowner. She was also the reason we started developing the cavern. She was the driving force and the main person financing everything. So we dedicated that plaque to kind of remember her. Now, here in a second, we're going to make our way past those plaques into the very first room of the cavern called the Bear Pit. As we get in there, we will be taking your individual, group, and family photos. So try to stay with the group you came with. Try to act like you like each other for the next couple of minutes. And then after those photos are taken, if you guys do not want to talk or interact with the rest of the tour, I will not make you. However, do you guys have any questions before we start going into the cavern? All right. So as we go in, the trails are going to start getting a lot more steep and wet. So please make sure you guys are watching your step and using those handrails. And you guys can follow me on in.
Are we going in? We going in. Oh my God, I'm so scared, bro. I'm so scared. Imagine I fell right here, bro. It's not even wet yet. I mean, now this is cooler than up there. No.
Oh, the rail is cold.
Camera, bro. Camera to camera. It does smell. It smells gunky, wonky, stunky. It smells stinky, bro. It stinks.
2.5.
Ha. No.
I'll get in y'all's photo. All right.
Alright, so I'm gonna be putting the camera away real quick. Y'all are gonna be able to pick out a little bit, cause they're making us take photos. So yeah.
Alrighty, our next group can go on down and get y'all's photo taken. So you guys can make your way on down and get y'all's photo. You guys can get right here on the left side. And then the groups that already got their photo taken, if y'all can do me a huge favor and just make your way a little lower into the room, a little bit farther down, you will see the crawlway entrance to your right. So if y'all want to make your way down right over there, that'd be great.
I'm taking the camera out for a little bit longer. About to take our photos. No, imagine. Oh, why is it cold? It's cold out here. Oh, it's wet, it's wet, it's wet. No. It's wet. God damn it. Oh my God. No, what is that? Hold on.
Alright, next group can make their way on down and get your photo taken. Alright, we'll have you guys just hang out right here.
So, this is the last stop before we take our pictures. Yeah. Nah.
Alrighty, you guys can follow me down.
Okay, we're going down now. It's kind of wet.
So, have you guys been right on the small campus? This way, so I'll have everyone right here. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Have a nice day, all. You're very welcome.
Alright guys, we're done with the pictures. The Bear Pit, 8,000-year-old bear.
Alright, everybody. So
Bottom.
welcome to the Bear Pit. Right now, we're going to be
Jawbone.
around 45 feet below the natural bridge. Throughout the tour, I will be referencing that natural bridge for depth. This way, it stays pretty solid. Now, in this room, back in development,
no
we did
grip
find
in
two
here.
bare bones in a small pit in the room. It was an 8,000-year-old black bear jawbone and a 5,000-year-old black bear leg
That's right
bone. And since we found them in the pit and they were bare bones, we named it the bear pit because we're creative. However, this was a lot more creative than the first and original name of this room. This was the first and second room of the cavern, named the first and second room of the cavern. Once again, we were very creative. However, we did find those bare bones, giving this room a better name. Those bones that we have found are going to be on display in our visitor center. If you guys want to take a look at them, definitely feel free to do so after this tour. Now, as you guys make your way down to the lower section of the room, you'll take a look to your right side of the handrail. You're going to see a pulsing light. It's kind of an orangish color. That is lighting up the entrance to our 120-foot long Discovery Crawlway. That is the crawl space they
You wanna
found
take
all
the
the way back
camera
in
and say
March of
hi?
1960, ranging at its most narrow being 11 inches to its widest point being 22. It is a mostly vertical crawlway, and halfway through it drops 20 feet straight down into an area known as the ladder pit. There is around 6 or 7 different exits to the crawlway, only one of which goes to an area that we want to be in. So, with all of that being said, we're going to take a vote. It's going to be majority rules. Raise your hand if you want to go through the crawlway. Raise your hand if you do not. Okay, that looks like majority to me. Even if it wasn't, my vote counts for 50. So we're not going through that crawlway, unfortunately, for those of you who wanted to. Instead, we're going to make our way down past these double doors called humidity doors. Those are there to lock the moisture in the cavern. It's going to get a lot warmer, a lot more humid once we pass those. But we'll enter an area known as St. Mary's Hall, which will have 2 passageways, one of which we are taking, and then one of which you guys can take on your own at a different point in time with a guide called our St. Mary's Adventure Tour. So for everybody who raised their hand about going through the crawlway, we have 2 off-trail tours that you can actually do something like that in. One of them is going to be seen through this tour at the St. Mary's Hall section, and the other will be at the very end of this tour. If you guys have any questions about the 2 adventure or off-trail tours that we offer, feel free to ask.
Oh, there's water
or you can
dripping
look
right
online
there.
at our website. Now, unfortunately, we can't go through the off-trail section today, so we're going to go through the most narrow portion of our tour through the developed St. Mary's Hall. It's going to get about above my height. I'm around 5'7" and 3/4. Basically, that rounds up and means I am 6'3". So if you guys are any taller than that, please watch your head. He gets it. But since this is the most narrow section, y'all can make your way past this. You should be good for the rest of the tour. If at any point you need to turn around, please let somebody else in your group know. That way I'm aware of it. With that being said, do you guys have any questions before we start making our way past those doors and into the warmer parts of the cave?
You know what this? Face him towards me.
No? Cool. Alrighty, so we're going to make our way down. Once again, it is going to get a lot warmer and more humid. The trails are going to get more steep and wet, so just watch your steps, use those handrails, and we're going to make our way in.
What the stigma? It's wet. And I'm holding on to it. Look in there. What's in there?
Oh.
Something. Oh my god. Nah. It's dark in here. No, can you bring my cameraman now? I know. Alright. Maybe in another video. Comment down below if you want my mom to be my new cameraman.
So you're your age, do you want to go camping? Yeah, I love going camping in a tent. I would love to do like backpacking and just on the ground. I mean, you
No, what's in there? St. Mary's Hall? What? Dripstone. Oh my gosh.
They haven't.
Since I dare to touch that. Take it, but they didn't touch it. Oh,
Probably has diseases up on it.
Maybe. I'm scared. First, let me take a picture of you. I'm probably the only person that's touched that. Probably one of the only people that have touched that. No, we're going in the cave. Don't hurt me. Oh no. I feel like there's something above me. No, that's tight. Crap, what the hell? What the hell? Oh my god, water just fell on me. Oh my god. Water. Water. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Water just fell on me. The tour guide told us. The tour guide told us.
Alright, everybody. So I would like to welcome you to the first large room of the cavern. Kudos, you got your room. Right now, you're about 108 feet below our natural bridge, and as you're coming in, we did pass that crawler. So if we all take a look back up towards the came in, you'll see the exit of the started process. Now, fun fact, when the explorers first got in here back in the 60s, they didn't have LED flashlights like we did. So, as they came out, they used mostly carbide headlamps. These were just small little canisters, had a very small controlled chemical reaction, basically producing a flame, and there was going to be a small metal dish that reflected the light. So, when the explorers came down here, it was pretty dark, and they came in all the way up here. When the first explorer, Orion Knox, made his way in, he actually slipped. Fun fact about the helmets, they never had a chin strap up until a few decades ago. So in 1960, they were strapless. So when he fell, his helmet fell off, his flame went out, and he was in total darkness for around 30 minutes until his tour guide buddies can come down, or his cave explorer buddies can come down and relight his flame. When he first saw this room with light, he saw all these formations, and to him, they kind of resemble the underworld, which is why he named it after Pluto, the Roman god of the underworld. And an anteroom simply just means that this is a small room, and it's going to lead to a lot larger ones. So throughout this tour, the rooms are going to get a lot bigger. Now, this room, even though it's pretty small, does have really good examples of all the formations that we're seeing and talking about. I do want to point them out and kind of tell you guys how they're formed. But first, I'll introduce you to our dripstones. These are rock formations made by dripping water. We have basically all the ones to talk about right over here. Starting with our stalactites, which you guys can see holding very tightly to the ceilings. We have their counterpart, the stalagmites. In dark caverns, you might trip over one of these. If these were to touch in the center, they would turn into what we call a column, just a large formation touching the ground and ceiling. And then lastly, we have our soda straws. These really skinny stalactites that do have a hollow center. Now, since they have a hollow center, water passes through them instead of around them, so they form in small rings of formation. And hypothetically, if I was to take one of those off the ceiling, I could drink a Dr. Pepper through it, which is why they got their name Soda Straws. Now, in addition to the drip stones, once again, dripping water, we have flow stones, which are made by flowing water. These are going to look very similar. They're going to have very small key differences. If you guys take a look right over here, you'll see what we call cave ribbon. And if you take a look at the bottom of the formations, they are still touching the wall. There is no space, no gap. If there was a space or gap formed, it will turn into a cave curtain. You guys can see some right over here as well. If you take a look behind most of y'all where those dripstones were, you'll see a few here. But these are going to have a pretty obvious gap between the formation and wall itself. That is a cave curtain. Now, if either of those two formations were to touch the floor, that is when it turn into a cave drapery. You guys can see one of those right here behind me to my right side. And this is a large flowstone that touches the ground. Now, all these formations are made through the same process. It's called calcite deposition. It is a process that starts with the rainwater. As it rains, that water will make its way through the soil and then through the limestone. As it goes through the soil, it'll pick up carbon dioxide from the decaying plants and animals, which forms into a weak carbonic acid, which dissolves and picks up minerals from the limestone. Now, as it dissolves and picks up minerals, I'm losing my voice. As it dissolves and picks up minerals, the main one it picks up and transfers into the cavern is going to be calcium carbonate or calcite. Now, as this makes its way into the cavern, the water will either drip, creating those drip stones, or flow, creating those flow stones, and will leave behind very small amounts of those minerals, allowing for them to dry up and crystallize, turning into the formations at an average rate of about 1 cubic inch every 100 years. Now, for a little perspective, that is about the size of an ice cube grown over a century, and this does still happen. So we are an active cavern. Everything in here is still actively growing. We want to give it the best chance of doing so by not touching any of those formations. Now, something else that will happen after we touch the formations, it'll start dyeing itself a dark brown or almost blackish color, and it will start having a pretty weird, unregular texture. It'll very quickly start looking like this, which we call a bat roost. This is evidence of bats living inside of our cavern system at one point in time. It dates back around 5,000 years old, and we theorize that the bats would have moved out around the time the sinkhole collapsed, as the natural opening got a lot smaller than it used to be. So those bats can no longer live in the cavern. They did have to move away. Now, here in a second, we are going to make our way out of this room. We're not going to follow the same route that my buddy Leonard just did. Instead, we're going to make our way down a little bit farther. It's about 72 feet down through trails called switchbacks. Now, all of these trails, they do have 180-degree turns. Try to avoid these sharp inside corners. They do typically have more water and get a little bit steeper. So just trying to take the wide outside corners as we make our way down. Now, before we go down, do you guys have any questions about anything I've talked about so far, or just any questions about anything in general? Rock and roll. Alrighty, so as you're making your way down, just once again, take those wide outside turns. Please make sure you guys are taking slow small steps and using the handrails as well. I'll make my way down towards the front. Once I'm down there, you guys can follow me.
No, this is crazy. They got stuff from Minecraft. They got stuff from Minecraft. Dripstone. They got dripstone. I don't want to lose my life savings. I don't want to lose my life savings. I was about to walk into that. Caver's Creed. Oh, yeah. I didn't know. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. It's going down. I wonder if I echo. Oh my God. Ah, water just fell on my head. Oh my god. Now, if y'all came, y'all would be scared too. If y'all subscribe, we'll be able to afford stuff like this. They down there. No. My head better get hit by that. It's right above us.
Give myself the illusion I'm tall.
It does give me the illusion that I'm tall. It really does give me the illusion that I'm tall. No, it's right there. Dangity dangity bum bum bum. Oh, that's crazy. Oh my god. Whoa. Y'all seeing that? That's crazy. What's in there? My mom taking so much pictures. Look at all that. It's like a dungeon. Yeah. I can't believe that's true. What is that? Oh my god. Something just dripped on my hand. What the heck?
Alright, everybody. So as we make our way down, we will be standing and stopping at the lowest point on our tour, walking distance-wise. We're about 180 feet below our natural bridge in Sherwood Forest. Since this is the lowest point that we're going to be at, if you guys need any assistance throughout the rest of the tour, it will be a little bit more strenuous. If you need any help, please do not hesitate to let me know. Let me know as soon as possible. That way I can help you as best that I can. Now, if you guys want to take a look towards the front of the room, you're going to see all the information responsible for how this room was made. So the explorers would stop down here. They would take a look towards these formations. And they would see formations that looked a little bit like tree trunks in the center. And then formations that looked like tree tops and canopies over on the right. Now, seeing this, they got inspired to name it Sherwood Forest after the story of Robin Hood, as one of the explorers was a literature major studying at St. Anne's. So he did name it on the cavern over literary prejudices. Now, also in that last room, I did talk a little bit about how these formations were made. I will talk a little bit about how the cavern itself was made as well, starting with the material what we're surrounded by. This is what we call limestone. We have two different formations of limestone that we see. We'll see the change of it in the last room. It is the Edwards, where we see now, and then the Glen Rose on the top. The oldest limestone that we have started forming around 120 to 140 billion years ago during the Cretaceous period, back when we still had a lot of water covering where we are now. With all this water being here, it would have allowed for a lot of plants and animals to settle to the very bottom, creating layers of sediments, and being built up over time. eventually compacting and forming the sedimentary material, limestone, not only makes up our cavern, but part of Central Texas. Now, as all the limestone was forming, it would have formed very solid. There would have been caverns with large voids like we have now. These would have started forming around 20 million years ago, back during the Cretaceous period. This would have started around 20 million years ago, back when we started getting a lot of seismic activity. All the seismic activity would have created large cracks that go throughout the cavern system. These large cracks would have resulted in water from the surface seeping down into the cave and eventually carving everything out. Sorry, the lights got over weird. So the water moved its way into the limestone, started carving everything out. Now, due to a very long process of erosion, it would leave behind all the void space that we see today. There were some areas in the cavern that did undergo a secondary process. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But as the water receded out of the cavern, it would have gone into what is now known as the Glen Rose Aquifer.
Oh, what is that?
Pass over here in just a second. Now, if you guys take a look out of this river, you'll see Purgatory Creek. It is the deepest point in the cavern that we can see in the past time. It is around 211 feet below the actual bridge. It does have around 4 to 5 feet thick of mud. And it is just not a very pleasant place to go, as the name would suggest. So instead of going down there, we're instead going to make our way across this bridge. It's around 152 feet long. It was poured in one large slab of concrete all the way back in 1964. So it's one big rock. It is as stable as possible. Just as you go over, make sure you guys don't hang anything over the right hand road. It will be around a 30-foot drop. So if you drop something down there, it will fall. And where it lands is where it will live for the next 2 or 3 months until we can get something down there to retrieve it. Also, that is connected to the aquifer, so every once in a while it does fill up with water. So you very much do not want to operate down there when that happens. Once again, try not to drop or hang anything over that handrail, please. With all that being said, you guys have any questions before we start going across that bridge up into our next group. So, once again, this is the lowest point. If you need assistance for the rest of the tour, definitely let me know as soon as possible. Once again, just hold for watch your step, use those handrails, and you guys can follow me.
Hi. When this video hits 40 minutes, I'm going to end it because the tour is about to end, and yeah, and my phone may die. So, yep. Huh? Okay. Some water. It does. What is down there? Alright, YouTube, this will be the end of the video because the tour is at an end and my phone may die soon. See you next time.